Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a classic get ready with me. I have some new fun products that I'm so excited to share with you. I just picked up the new Monika Blunder. This is the Blunder Wonder and I'm so excited to share this with you. Monika Blunder is a fantastic makeup artist. I've been a longtime fan of hers, so when she launched her beauty line, of course I was going to pick that up. So we're going to be playing with her new product as well as these Dolce & Gabbana products. These were gifted to me from Grace from Everyday Edit and I have yet to do a tutorial using them. So we're going to be using a little bit of Dolce Gabbana. We've got this fun little bronzer as well. And then we're going to be ending off with a fragrance of the day that was a request by a subscriber. So if you are interested in seeing how I created this look today using some new fun products, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we are going to do a full face with some fun goodies. The first item I have is from Monika Blunder Beauty, and I'm a huge fan of Monika Blunder. She was probably one of the first people I kind of started watching on YouTube, besides Tati, of course, but she just has such a calming persona. She is a professional makeup artist and I just have adored her for so long. So when she launched her Monika Blunder Beauty, and this is a foundation, you knew I was going to have to pick this up. So this is called Blunder Cover. And I ended up picking this up in the shade number 3. Yep, I'm already doubting. I'm not sure if this is the right color. Maybe needed 2, but guess what? It is a cream product. I also went ahead and picked up her brush that you use to apply the product. The Blunder Cover is infused with natural botanicals like arnica and edelweiss and gentle hydrating oils. Blunder Cover is an all-in-one foundation concealer that can be sheared out and used as a natural, comfortable base or built up as a concealer in areas that you need more coverage with an always natural skin-like finish. This multitasking formula can also be used in lighter and darker shades to highlight and contour. So this little pot of goodness includes arnica. It has edelweiss, aloe vera, sunflower extract, rosemary extract, and chamomile. So all of those ingredients are supposed to be kind of anti-inflammatory to the skin as well as antioxidant rich, and as well as some calming agents from the chamomile and such. So I was very attracted to the formula of this product, but again, I kind of bought this because I love Monika. I think she's amazing and figured anything that she puts out is going to probably be just like her, amazing. So I picked it up in shade 3, which is DREI, and this is this color here. DREI is considered light medium with warm neutral undertones. Currently they have 7 shades available, and this is supposed to be very kind of forgiving to your skin. You can wear this kind of sheer or you can build it up. So I may be buying a couple other shades kind of to use it for highlighting as well as contouring. But just wanted to show you this first. Let me give you a little swatch. It is very creamy in texture. And this just sort of seemed like it would be kind of the happy medium shade to start with. Now I also went ahead and purchased her hybrid cream brush because I always kind of like buying the brush that corresponds with the foundation, and this just looked like it would be kind of fantastic to be putting underneath my eyes, and I just like the idea of just having a dedicated kind of synthetic brush for cream kind of foundations. So we are going to So we're going to use a little bit of this, and I'm just going to start by putting a little bit of this into the jar here, and then I'm going to kind of start to put a little bit of this on, and then we can kind of build it up or shear it out. And now one of the things I really like about Monika Blunder's makeup is that she always tends to focus on enhancing people's beauty, kind of bringing out their skin. She does a lot of editorial kind of looks too, but again, it always seems to have this element of just kind of enhancing people's natural kind of beauty. So of course, I love the idea of that. And I am going to use my finger. I'm just going to dab it on like this. And I'm actually going to use this as kind of concealer too. Now again, I could definitely use a lighter shade as far as concealer, possibly, but I just wanted to try it out first to make sure that my skin was kosher with the ingredients. And then I'm going to use this little brush here, and we are just going to take a moment to kind of buff this into the skin. Okay guys, bringing you in to kind of show you the coverage. So a couple of things, super easy to use, like was very creamy. It just kind of glided right on the skin super easily. This brush is fantastic, like just really super soft, but dense enough that you can kind of get in here and buff. And whenever I've watched any of her tutorials, again, she just takes little amounts of product and just kind of builds it up here and there. She doesn't tend to coat things on. I'm sure that's what all real makeup artists do, but I just am finding that the formula is just super silky and it looks like skin. So if you can see, it does give me a little bit of coverage, but it truly just looks like second skin. It doesn't feel like anything on my skin at all, and there is not any kind of scent or anything. So I was a little worried. I know that sometimes people put rosemary extract. My skin is one of those that's a little bit funky with certain kind of essential oils and stuff, but this one tends to be, but this one I can tell doesn't smell like anything, and it just is feeling really nice and lovely on the skin. So very natural kind of coverage, and again, we could build this up, but I think I'm going to just leave it a little bit more natural for today and kind of let this sink in, and then we can always use a little bit more at a different time. Okay, so next product that we're going to use is actually something that was gifted to me from Grace from Everyday Edit, and I have yet to do a tutorial using this, and this is Dolce & Gabbana, and this is the Sweet Cocoa FELINE Eyes Intense Eyeshadow Quad, and we briefly did a live event upon which I showed you this beautiful quad, but I thought we would actually use it on camera today, and this is going to be right up my alley, you guys. Sweet Cocoa, kind of a neutral palette, another neutral palette that you know I'm going to love and enjoy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this sort of cream sandy color over here, and I just want to see how that appears. We might put that all over the eye, but we'll kind of start just on the eyelid just to see what the color is, and it looks like I can use that all the way up into that eyebrow. Kind of a nice little sandy tone here. Okay guys, here is what that first color looks like. I actually really like that. So nice little base on the eyes. Then we're going to start to build with some of these little chocolatey tones or cocoa tones over here. And I think I'm just going to kind of go boom, do this in the V, and then we'll kind of use this as liner. That's what my thoughts are so far. So I'm going to use Refer, and this is number 14, and I'm going to stick it right in this deeper shade. That looks like a really pretty shade here. And we'll just kind of come and I did a little heavy hand on that one, so we're just going to blend everything out. So this is pigmented, guys. This little, like, powder, so these shadows are pigmented, and I'm just kind of looking straight ahead. Do not worry, I promise. We are going to blend everything here. I am playing for the first time, so you are seeing what the formula is like. But one thing I've learned about makeup is it's always fixable for the most part. So I'm taking the fluffy brush. This is Wayne Goss number 16, and I'm going to take a minute, and I am going to do circular motions here, and we're going to blend that pretty cocoa shade on to the eye. So pretty. So far, you guys, they are blending like a dream. So I would say I went a little heavy-handed. Do not need to use that much product. And just kind of going to create a little smoky eye this morning because we put a lot of product on that first go. Coming into this shade over here. This is a little bit more of a flat brush, and I'm going to just kind of do a little buildup of that outer V. Then I'm going to come in to this darker shade over here, and we're going to use that as a liner kind of for the upper and bottom lashes. I'm using my Rowan Everything Eye brush, and this one has just kind of a nice fine tip over here, and I'm just going to kind of go by that lash line and smoke it out a bit. Now I most likely will be adding a little bit of eyeliner because I like to wear that to define my eyes, but you totally could do this just with powder shadow. And then I'm going to come underneath with that shadow. Okay guys, I'm doing one last little kind of blending with this fluffy brush. I just want to kind of soften everything. And this will look a lot better once we put on a little eyeliner and mascara to kind of bring it all together. Okay guys, we've got a little bit of a smoky eye. I ended up pulling out my, this is Chanel. This is the STYLO Ombre et Contour, and this one's in electric brown. Normally I would probably use Brune Agape, but I can't seem to find it at the moment, so we're going to go with electric brown, which is another beauty, you guys. I love this. It's got just a little bit of a chocolatey kind of look to it. It's not quite as chestnutty. I would say this is more of a sweet cocoa kind of color. So I think this will work just fine. And then again, since it's kind of a smoky eye, I can even kind of use this to kind of smoke it out and make a little bit more impact. So I'm first going to come in here, and I'm going to come in and try to come close to the waterline, right on that upper lash line. I'm going to put a little bit here on this waterline. Then I'm going to use a little bit of this, you guys. I'm going to come up, and I'm actually going to smoke out, make a little thicker line at that top. Go ahead and make a kind of smoky brown eye today. So I do love these ombre et contours kind of for this easy smoky eye. So this is often while I will use these. That's again kind of what those Boy de Chanel eyeliners are for too. But you can kind of just come in, and we're just going to smoke that out. So a little thicker kind of look. I'm going to go ahead take my Rowan Everything eye brush and we're just going to kind of blend that in. Okay, we've got a kind of a smoky, sweet cocoa eye going on. I am going to go clean up my brows, put on loads of mascara. We're going to kind of load that up today. Then we'll come back, put some color on my face, and finish off with a lip. Okay, guys, eyeballs are on, and now we need to kind of liven up my skin. I did pick up the Solar Glow, and this is in the shade Sunrise. And yes, you guys, I was totally attracted to the packaging. Is this adorable or what? Look how adorable this packaging is. Then inside it is embossed with a really pretty print here. And yes, there is actually a Smeg Dolce & Gabbana toaster that I have wanted forever. It's a little bit pricey. I already own a Smeg toaster, but it is so cute, so cheerful, and I just have been trying to convince my husband that it would just make our lives so much more happier with this beautiful kind of cute little Smeg toaster. He didn't go for it. And I totally get that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to warm up my skin here. And this is the shade Sunrise. I was kind of blind buying this off of Harrods, so it was kind of hard to see the tones. I believe this was the third shade. I kind of thought of it as being kind of the medium tone. And here is what the tone looks like here. And kind of a little bit more leaning in that warm tone versus more like a cocoa. So kind of a golden tone here. And let's see, this is the tone on my hand right here. And it glides on, you guys, really super easily. Definitely gave me a little bit of a fake tan here. And then we have the beautiful blush. This again was gifted to me from Grace from Everyday Edit. Look how adorable this is. The packaging, you guys, definitely gets an A+. And this tone of blush is in, and this is in Provocative. So just a really pretty kind of pink tone right here. Really nice kind of pink tone here. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it, so it's kind of almost like it's got a little bit of highlight kind of meshed into the blush, but you can't really see that in the pan. So we are going to put some of that on. I'm going to take just my big fluffy brush here, and I'm just going to kind of buff everything in, just kind of smooth out the edges here between that bronzer and the blush. And then we'll focus on the lips here. Okay, now we're going to end with a little bit more of a bold lip today. I'm going to, again, I'm sorry you guys, I'm in love with these, is the new Chanel. This is the Rouge Allure LAQUE. This is in Tenacious, that's 78. I better double check the number because I can't read that, but I know it's Tenacious. I'm in love with this color. So this one is sort of this beautiful kind of raspberry tone, deeper kind of lip. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this. Once I put it on my lips, then I like to take my finger and I just like to kind of dab that in so it gets a little bit more like a little popsicle stain. Okay, then we're going to finish with fragrance of the day, and I had a request to use the 31 Rue Cambon. This is one of the Chanel Les Exclusif perfumes, and I do happen to have a sample of this. So this is described as a woody chypre perfume. So I don't tend to totally gravitate to those types of perfumes. I definitely gravitate towards woody, but I want to give this a try because it's been on my radar and because I had a request. There we go. So I think the reason that I think the reason I don't totally gravitate towards these kind of fragrances normally is just because kind of reminds me a little bit of my grandmother, and I don't mean this in a grandma kind of way. My grandma was a very kind of swishy kind of grandma, but this is definitely one of these perfumes that I know I've smelled on her. So it may feel a little bit vintage to me, but not necessarily in a bad way. Maybe more in sort of a grown-up way. I tend to gravitate towards those more kind of warm, sensual, little touch of vanilla, kind of fun, playful fragrances. This to me feels like a little bit more like adult, sophisticated. It's actually quite beautiful. The top notes in her are going to be black pepper, bergamot, as well as green notes. So I definitely did smell that black pepper when I first sprayed this on. Bergamot typically means that it's going to have a freshness to it. And as far as green notes, I can see a little bit of that as well. So again, this just totally reminds me, I swear so again, this is definitely reminding me of my grandma. It's not a grandma scent, but this is just something that either she wore or had a similar kind of perfume to it. The middle notes are going to be iris, ylang ylang, and rose. And then in the base, it's patchouli, labdanum, and woody notes. So truly this is a beauty. It is kind of reminiscent to me of Chanel number 22. I'm kind of getting those vibes. So as this is starting to dry down, there is something that's kind of like evoking like effortlessly chic about it. It does have a retro vibe to me. It has definitely Chanel DNA, so you're going to need to like that. But this is definitely like what I kind of think of as definitely more of like a chic Parisian kind of scent. This is definitely a classy kind of fragrance. I believe that this was inspired by where Mademoiselle Chanel lived in Paris. This was I think this was where her apartment was located. So this was sort of the inspiration behind this fragrance. And to me, this feels like it's sort of a chic, classy, definitely more sophisticated. So although this may not be something that I'm typically gravitating towards, I'm definitely glad that I pulled this out. It really does to me, if I had to put one word on it, this is like chic in a bottle. Definitely has that kind of sophisticated, chic kind of feel to it, and it's definitely a like for me. I'm going to have to kind of see how this plays on me. I'm going to definitely see how this wears on me throughout the day. Definitely reminding me of my grandmother, but again, I say this not as like a grandma scent. It is just something that I can see her wearing. Now, my grandma was the type who always like made a grand entrance to any event she came to. She was someone who wore her silk dresses, her little Ferragamo kind of heels. She loved her mink coats. That was back in the day when it was popular. She drove around in a fancy car. She loved to smoke. She loved to drink. Like, I just think of her as kind of this swishy grandma. I was kind of scared of her, to be honest with you. Wasn't the warm kind of grandma. She was very honest and upfront with you. She didn't mince words, but I always really appreciated her style and her gusto and her kind of zest for life. So that is what I would say. This would be totally something she wore. She may have worn this. That's what I'm saying. When I first smelled this, I'm like, oh my God, it smells like my grandma. And again, not smells like a grandma, that particular grandma. So those are my initial thoughts on that 31 Rue Cambon from the Chanel Les Exclusif. And this is going to be the final look of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a safe and healthy little entree into 2021. So excited for this coming year. Fingers crossed it's going to be so much better, but you guys are awesome. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back with another video soon.